It is super tempting to think that a rebrand or a refresh will fix all your problems in your business. The low engagement, slow sales, that just kind of annoying stuck feeling. But here's the truth. A rebrand, unfortunately, is not a magic wand. In today's episode, I'm breaking down 5 times that I see business owners rush into rebranding and why that is actually the wrong move. If you've been wondering whether it's time to change up your visuals or burn everything down and start over, then this one might save you a lot of time, money, and second guessing. Welcome to the Six Figure Brand Podcast, where each week we're pulling back the curtain on what it really takes to build a six-figure business as an online service provider. I'm your host, Morgan. I'm a branding expert, online agency owner, mom of 2, and military spouse, and I'm obsessed with helping entrepreneurs like you understand the ins and outs of branding so that you can use it to grow your business without sacrificing your sanity. Whether you're just starting out or focused on scaling, we're diving into everything you need to build a profitable and sustainable online business. Let's get to it. Have you been feeling the urge to rebrand lately? If you're not now, chances are you have at some point. Maybe your brand feels a little bit off. Maybe you've evolved and your visuals haven't caught up. Maybe you're just bored and you think, if I could just change my colors or get a new logo or rebuild my website, everything would be fixed. I get it. I've been there. Here's the thing that a lot of brand designers don't talk about enough. A rebrand isn't always the next right move, and it is certainly not going to fix all the problems in your business. I have seen so many service providers pour thousands of dollars and lots of hours into a rebrand only to realize 6 months or a year later that the real problem wasn't their logo or their color palette or their website. It was that they didn't actually have a clear strategy behind all of it in the first place. So today we're going to talk about 5 times that you probably want to rebrand, but maybe shouldn't. I'm going to explain why that urge comes up, what the real problem might be, and what to do instead if you're feeling stuck or misaligned in your business. So, scenario number 1, you are brand new to business. This is obviously not really a rebrand, it's more of just an initial brand. But when you first start your business, you are probably very excited. You want to look legit, and you think that spending a bunch of money on a beautiful professional brand is going to make you feel more confident and jump you to the front of the line of looking like you have all this experience in your business. But here's the problem. Your business is still evolving. If you are in the first 6 months or haven't even started your business yet, you don't know enough about your business or your audience or your services to really create a very effective brand. You're still learning who you like to work with, what services you want to offer, who your audience is, what your packages are going to be, what your pricing is, who you are as a business owner. So how the heck are you supposed to know how you want things to look or what your brand strategy is going to be? I've said it 1,000 times and I will say it again. Branding should be built on a clear foundation of strategy. And in year 1, you're still figuring out that foundation. So instead, rather than investing, $2,000 to $10,000 in a brand designer, I would suggest that you purchase a pre-made kit on somewhere like Creative Market or DIY something in Canva. And rather than putting all of your eggs in the I need a beautiful brand basket, focus on learning through doing, right? So not making it up as we go, but just taking messy action, collecting client feedback, changing up things that aren't working, clarifying your offerings, and doing the dang thing. And then in a year from now, you will probably be ready to invest in branding and do it a lot more strategically than you would have if you had just done that right out of the gate. Scenario number 2, you don't have a clear vision. And I'm not talking about vision as far as aesthetics and how you want things to look. You probably want to rebrand in this scenario because you're feeling stuck or disconnected from your current brand, right? So something just feels off and you think, oh, if I just refreshed my branding, then I would feel excited about things, right? But the problem is that if you don't have a super clear vision for the future of your business and where you want things to go, it's kind of like building a house with no blueprint, right? So you're just making it up as you go. I can all but guarantee that you're going to outgrow it or feel misaligned again sooner than later, even if you do create something that's beautiful. A solid brand strategy is rooted in your business goals. And without knowing where you're headed, what your aspirations are for the future, and kind of being able to see down the road for your business, you can't really build a brand that gets you there. So instead of jumping the gun and going straight to visuals and kind of trying to put a band-aid on things, I would encourage you to just spend some time daydreaming and doing some visioning work, asking yourself, where do you want to be in 3 to 5 years? Who do you want to serve? What kind of impact do you want to make on the world? Using strategy tools like the Standout Brand Foundations Workbook can really help you clarify that direction. And I think also just giving yourself some time and space to kind of let those things come to you naturally, right? So there's no timeline on any of this. If you need to just be for a couple of months and wait until it all of a sudden hits you while you're out walking your dog, that's fine. And I would argue that that's better than trying to force something when you're not quite ready for it. Once you do figure all of that stuff out, then you can either DIY or work with a brand designer to bring that vision to life in a way that actually is going to move the needle in your business versus kind of putting the cart before the horse and saying, okay, well, here's how things look and I'll fill in that vision stuff later. Scenario number 3, you have shiny object syndrome. And I can speak from experience because I am guilty here, not so much as it relates to branding, but in every other area of my business. So you might want to rebrand because you're just bored of your brand, or your business bestie just wants a cool new brand and you're feeling kind of jealous, or a new website platform came out and you're like, oh, I need to try that and I need a new brand to go with it. I have done that before. We'll talk about that in the next episode. But basically, just because. There's no real reason behind wanting to rebrand other than you just feel like it, you're bored and antsy, and it's a fun, new, shiny thing that you can entertain yourself with. Here's why I would really encourage you not to do that. Rebranding all the time and without a purpose really erodes the consistency and trust that your audience has in your brand. Repetition is what creates recognition and what builds trust and what makes people feel good about handing their money over to you and inviting you into their business to work with them. And if you're always changing everything every time that your friend rebrands or some new thing comes out that you want to try or whatever, there's no way that you can do that. So instead, I would say to just take a pause and let your brand evolve naturally without like constant reinvention. You don't need to constantly overhaul everything for it to feel fresh and relevant and to be excited about it. So you can do things like auditing your existing brand to find areas where you can make some small tweaks. I just recently redid this and I literally changed like 3 colors in my color palette and it felt like a whole new brand to me, but it didn't look like something completely new to my audience. So kind of considering a refresh instead of a full rebrand. Maybe you do a photo shoot and get some updated photos and that kind of injects some new life into things. Or you change a font a little bit, but we're not making a complete 180 shift here, right? And then also just focusing on showing up more consistently with the brand that you already have. So maybe your actual brand is fine and the way you're using it is just kind of gotten stale. And something as simple as creating some new Canva templates or maybe a new social media strategy could kind of reinvigorate things for you. Scenario number 4, where you might want to rebrand but shouldn't, is if you think that a rebrand is going to fix all of these deep issues in your business. So you're not booking clients, your engagement is down, you're struggling to get results for your clients, any of those type of things, a new look isn't going to really solve that. Now, there is something to be said for making sure that your visuals actually appeal to your audience, and that can help you increase booking clients and engagement. But if you're having like an existential business crisis, a rebrand's probably not going to solve that for you. Now, diving super deep into brand strategy and maybe working with a coach on some of those things could then eventually lead to a rebrand, and that makes sense. But jumping straight to rebranding in a situation like that is probably just going to leave you more disappointed, more confused, and out a whole bunch of money. So instead here, I would recommend revisiting your brand strategy or visiting it for the first time if that's not something you've already done, and really trying to pinpoint what's misaligned here. Is it your audience, your positioning, your messaging? Is it your offers? Is it that you just don't enjoy the service that you provide? It could be a myriad of things, but really getting to the root of the issue and then using that to inform whether or not you want to do a visual rebrand. This might include things like doing market research, collecting feedback from clients, any of those things, but really digging into like some actual data versus just kind of trying to say, okay, well, I'm going to get a new color palette and that's going to fix everything. That's just a band-aid, and I can promise you it is not going to fix everything. And finally, scenario number 5, you're getting external pressure to rebrand, right? So this kind of goes along with shiny object syndrome, but is different, right? You might want to rebrand because a coach or some influencer has told you that you need to level up, or your brand isn't good enough, or it looks amateur, or whatever. And they might not be saying this directly, but you kind of know when the message is still implied, right? I would say that this is a terrible idea because when your rebrand is driven by insecurity rather than like a abundance mindset and really focusing on strategy, it's not going to lead to confidence. It's going to lead to another identity crisis 6 months from now, and kind of that hamster wheel of feeling like nothing's ever good enough. Nothing really ever feels like me. I don't know why I can't just get this right. I always hate my brand. In my experience, the most successful rebrands have come from service providers who have gotten to a place where they are super clear on who they are, who they serve, how they want to be perceived, and really the core of what their brand strategy is. And they say, okay, I'm ready to fully step into that visually, versus saying, I don't feel good about my brand, and kind of coming at it from a place of insecurity. So instead, I would encourage you to take a break from those comparison traps. Feel free to be ruthless in unfollowing people who make you feel bad about your business. I cannot stress this one enough. Unsubscribe from their emails, unfollow them on social media, stop putting things that make you feel bad about yourself in front of your face all day, and really reflect on how do you want to feel in your business. Because if you really love your brand and somebody else is making you feel like it's not good enough, then that's not serving you, and you need to kind of step away from that a little bit. And obviously, I always encourage you to invest in strategy support, not just visuals, right? So doing a strategy session or working through a strategy on your own might make it really clear to you that, hey, actually, my visuals are great. They're fine. I don't need to change anything. Make sure that you stay in the driver's seat of your business. Don't let comparison and influencers and people who are trying to profit off of you take that away from you. So to close this one out, I just want to remind you that a rebrand is a huge decision. Like, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of money. Taking that risk of changing how your business looks to your audience should not be taken lightly. It can be super powerful and it can really propel you forward, but it's not a cure-all. And as you know, and as I've said probably 1,000 times already on this podcast, strategy has to come first. If it doesn't, you're just going to be stuck in the hamster wheel of rebranding every 2 years and wondering why nothing really ever works. So I would encourage you to just take a pause and kind of assess, do I have clarity on where I'm going and what my goals are for my business? Do I have actual real world data to back up the things that I'm wanting to change as far as a rebrand goes, meaning client feedback, market research, etc.? And do I really need a whole new brand? Or maybe I could just do a quick little refresh and that would kind of make things feel better for me. So if you're not sure where to start, I would highly encourage you to book a 5-minute brand audit, and I will take a look at your brand and tell you kind of some areas I can see improvement, what I think you're doing really well that you should capitalize on, and some options for moving forward. And that will kind of help you to figure out what's working, what's missing, whether a rebrand is right for you or not. And as always, I would love to chat through all of this stuff with you on Instagram as well. Thanks for tuning in to the Six Figure Brand Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to rate the show and leave a review on whatever app you're listening on. And as a thank you, I'll send you coffee on me. Yes, I'm serious. As a smaller show for now, you taking the time to do this makes a huge impact on how we can reach more people and how I can continue to create this content for free. When you take a screenshot of your review, follow and tag me on Instagram at @SpectandCo. I'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. As always, don't forget to check out the show notes for any links or resources I mentioned during the episode. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you next week.